analysis of the factual information. Part 3 were the conclusions, which includes the findings, the causes, and all contributory factors. And Part 4, the safety recommendations. The composition of the board. This is now getting into the methodology of the investigation. The composition of the board had national security, Ghana Armed Forces personnel, personnel from the Aircraft Accident and Incident Investigation and Prevention Bureau, Ghana, National Intelligence Bureau, and we had some staff from the US Air Force also with us. For the factual information evidence collection, we immediately had, on the 26th of August, a briefing by the Preliminary Investigation Team, PIT as it's called. Now, the Preliminary Investigation Team were sent out on the same day of the accident by the Air Force. Their task was to go to the accident site, secure the site, try to protect and make sure that all perishable evidence was secure. Now, when we speak of perishable evidence, we mean things like information, things like memories, because people forget after a short time. They also have the duty of making sure that in as much as possible, they can capture and do a wreckage diagram of all the parts and so on that were around the crash site, because all these help in deducing what actually caused the accident. So we had a briefing by the PIT team, and they handed over the PIT report. The flight recorder, made up of the flight data recorder and the cockpit voice recorder, which is typically called the black box, and some personal effects of the passengers. The team then started, having gotten this information, decided to proceed to the accident site to get first-hand knowledge of the accident site and to be able to interview witnesses and so on. We also went through a process of looking at all the maintenance records of the aircraft. We looked at the flight logs of the aircraft, we looked at the flight logs of the crew, we checked on the crew's qualification, we checked on documentation, just to be sure that everything was proper. The flight data and cockpit voice recorder were then transported to the AVIC Flight Decoding Center in Xi'an, China, from the 12th September to 22nd September 2025. Now, AVIC is the Aviation Industry Corporation of China. The aircraft is a Chinese aircraft. They were the manufacturers. They had the software and the hardware capable of decoding and giving us the data from the flight data recorder. So we had to go to them. We also decided, as is normal with investigations, to look at the human factors and operational information. We looked at the medical and psychological records of the flight crew. Interviews were conducted with pilots, engineers, superiors, to assess the crew's proficiency, training history, and operational culture. We also actually interviewed their families and so on. We left no stone unturned. We also interpreted the weather. We looked at the weather on the day. And we looked at the META, which is the actual weather at the aerodromes. We looked at the TAFs, which are the terminal aerodrome forecasts, eyewitness observations, and then we also took data from the Ghana Meteorological Agency. Next, the investigation team decided to look at the whole organizational and systemic processes under which the aircraft was operated. So we examined the Ghana Air Force policies, their flying orders, and their operational oversight mechanisms. We looked at crew authorizations. We looked at the air tasking order procedures. Because, for instance, for the particular day, the task order that had been given was to fly the Minister of Defense and his party from Accra to Obuasi and back. We looked at Air Force oversight, its safety culture, and the adequacy of risk management systems. Having gotten all this factual information, we then moved to analysis and reconstruction. Using data from the flight data recorder and cockpit voice recorder, radar tracks, and eyewitness accounts, the flight path was reconstructed. We also looked at various analysis of several data and other similar accidents. And then we pieced together the sequence of events leading to the accident.
Live on TVSY set and also on Power 97.9 FM. And a Tuesday, the 11th of November 2025 in the year of our Lord, the Conordin Regional Capital Tamalia. Umofire live our Kesmi 107.1 FM in Kiligi FM or Boli in the Savannah region, WFM our Y in the Upper West region, Samson Upper East region, Bokuya Source 100.1 FM, Zebs FM or Zebila, and a Pussy Guy Wingpang Sampa one day FM. Yako Bono region, Tiny 90.9 FM on Soko and Soma FM so on Crown Quanta for regional capital Goso Nananum 92.5 FM and Aduno FM so was San Korean Kofuta regional capital on a global 105.1 FM so Cremo Central regional capital Cape Coast Adom Sounds Cremo Kotokraba Market Sansona Sinfusu Rich FM Yako Atoye Mantamo Western regional capital Takradia Sharp 106.9 FM Neziama Elembele Western 100.3 FM Yanko Uti region 3 radio stations. New 89.7 FM Oketekrache KFM Okpasana Boom FM and so Ewo Jasekan. Everyone emotion call London GFM Radio and Fire Life Radio Sansona Po 68 FM Ewo America Memo Virginia Kwakusket and any team so Ekremo ho Facebook Live Power 979 TVSYZ Ghana Sanson on YouTube SYZ broadcasting Mugabe Maase and Nimidu betime from capacity my free sabri copy say Nunsia Ebebo and one Samno say amount for expectation what 2026 budget here nyame ya adoma on Thursday a finance minister honorable Dr. Atoforsen obekwa kopie mu mrase bejofie na watumi a present o my Ghana yakohoma e 2026 mono e de ato Ghana fo anim ne mrase bejwafo awodo nu ani akire eduoso ense 276 MPs no watumi di bibia akoto ma ne ho nsem etese nra e wo aye vetting committee no no ma che say ho e na aye chief justice awapa no say onwe no toto na no say niamatimi koyie mana no aba be ye chief justice eye unmunyamfo eye bafo boni na nra papa ekopie mu e wo ma eye dom kuma wo mo mrase bejofie the minority side no wo mo work out na ho nsem no san e na eba frankly kujo evimani Africa atumi akasa ensembe no so edi atu edwa e na hwehwe mu ye koso amafo be se no sunu makaya Agasimo Bosumi ne de toso eye ensia Ghana for yan tia sempa Dr. Manebo Ama Honorable Dr. Samuel Sapon ene Honorable Mutala Mohammed ni afufu a moka won yo mokọ hwe mo kwan ya wasa helicopter crash no ehun sem no sen ena hwehwemu no omo so de aba betu edwa ese ye woda na sen ena wo so wadwen eye wo ni nyina no ehun sem ebobo eba ene eye 11th na chese ene today November 11th marks another history and achievement at the Bank of Ghana na unum se ene sem ekopie mu no ewo eye amusie ewo osu baby esi asojafo no ene dwumade bi kɔ so se na ho sem no so etimi ekoye nenei ye bo eye won kaya ne ho se ene eye 11th no ye bo nkompo ne ekoye chi a 11th November 2024 na yesika sam no etesei enenei eye 11th November 2025 yesika sam no etesei dollar no se na neti last year ena sesi aso no sen ena esi etie ho sem nyina no ye de bremo Bermuda Games beba so on the 5th of December 2025 our Magdan Park anya sem ketwa ewo eye trade fair heya la heya chese yumadi ne be fe wo be se ho se de misi bobo a wo de da no na waba wate ase bo se me Black Stars no kra no to ado wasa kwa frame dada ho sem eba medimo sister echi Victory Garlic Mixer echi S Natural Mineral Water Power Specialist Eba Hospital Safari Valley Eco Resort ya na homra eba de da kanyina beto amso Yadamase Esamu Akwaba Ediba TVS YZ and Power 97.9 FM support from the 900 million angels Mugabe Maase Tankule Gabiga and some every net Tuesday the 11th of November 2025 no yeshasi anese yeshasi abon kompon akoyenechi na yakohed yesi ewo 11th on the 6th of August 2025 na dano wukwada na wukwada bi wukwada bone ne dan nye da pade ma o my Ghana na chese wo hwe wienhemfo nipa mienu anu omudi mutintiman ene afofo esia na omo eka ho a omo kwahwe omo enkwa ewo adanse ene ne patem ho wa asante mantem a na esewani ensese ye ka kire wo na hwehwemu a womo eyeye ni nyina etumi aba bedadi yese de edi kan no adverse weather conditions na chese ni edi kan de koso accident no eno no wienhye ne ko nyina no cause of accident no womo de ho nsem de ababa betudwa na de tie eno no first de edi kan mo say adverse weather conditions chese wiem dane ne wiem enye ne wiem nya omo kono ma ho say wiem nye ana ya weather forecast for no meteorological department for no mo etumi anye bibia hu se eda no weather na ha ebeyese enye se awie but ma ye mebi nsibiem the tosumie no yese downdraft and environmental factors no the science for na limited navigational is no so omo aircraft limitations no just omo na kan obeti ase ti the air can say weather na weather na so who cause am weather na say omo check weather so British Airways betu every a year Heathrow and Gatwick Airport akọ any destination ye won kofo a check mu say ekwemu nya ntiwense ne yentu we den a British Airways wo muntu we den a Emirates obelande wo ha no ho say ewiem nya onko etie de ne die ne siye eye ho emu adwuma se wo so mu hwewiem ehu se wiem da ho baabi a wokɔ no ɛhɔ da ho fan a wobetimi akɔ 30 minutes wadu wɔbo ase baabi a wokɔ no ɛyɛ hwan ana sitra da ne agya ne saa ne yɛkɔ as a country. Never again. Never again. No one says you must read and also your womb be a woman, read and also Tim, a teacher for Makumakun watch. One day now, my gun, lose you a munina. I want you must make sure say what dano, you shall be too adequate be able to. Why was what you who say, what done here and now what done and ya, why you yes. It is not say we say be a betu sa halu kota be tu sa ya nya chasi be we say we mo ya na we mo nye hini patiti wa ya we wo say o man. It's somebody's job to make sure say obey the tax me hu say kwa mu da ho said the British Airways said the Emirates for a year no ayi obi adwuma so be make sure say me say nkwa ye ton e wo Makola market. Yes. Ye ton kwa e Makola market. Bibi bia ni ho ye betimi aye to bring Omanebo ama back. Bibi bia ni ho ye betimi aye to bring Dr. Samosa Bon back. Mutala Enko, Limuna Miniru. Bibi ni ho ye betimi de Omaba back. But ye ho ye djuma so make sure say such as ne ba koso asa na wi hye na tu. Eye me Mugabe adwuma na. Why na nya na adwuma yie? Wana no so ye such as na wanya na adwuma yie. Enti ade abato osi ye nya na sa na enko. Asotwe nkomo obi ya na. Please, let's sit up. Let's sit up. Help kwata no man panyi frubi. O man panyi be de chire frubi. Abai mu pani fo frubi. Never again. Never again. As a country, never again. If I know is your oh. You go back in 2024 and 11th November. It is 11th, 10th, and 11th November 2024. Let's be reflective here. You reflect here, yes, production team, thank you very much. We are Monday, 11th November 2024. Not dollar, you're ton saying. Me a $1 a year. 16 Ghana cedis 34 pesos. Buy no. It's also quota. Now better the 16 cedi 3.583 pesos. And today, here, way a year. We are talking about 2024. And in 2024, no, na dollar na nam 16.17. No. Me dollar I'm not talking about the pounds and I'm not talking about the euros. More far a year 2025 and now 11th November 2025 there no and we are there. That is Monday 10th November 2025. Dollar no aye 10 cedi 9 pesos. Yes. Dollar na last year 11th November 2024 near Tony 16 to 17 Ghana cedis no and na dollar no yenyo president ya owo fie nyansa na on the penifo bi atoto a year positions bia no. Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Asiama Nyakupo Shrewa Metiasie, Sansuna Finance Minister Honorable Aya Atofos Nyamia Shrewa Metiasie, when you deputy Ampem Nyako Mobile Juma. Namabo Gold Board CEO Sameja Fi Uno deputy lawyer Richard Meboma Baso. And Yama pa by way at the Agu Kwamono. Adiana last year a year 17 and a year 10. Yes. Et ye catch us say reset Ghana. A buy way so our reset Ghana when you the oil. We beard was so that say Adiana last year November on the 11th November and then afe pepepe no na ye 16.4 no and nay ebetime ababa bedru a year 10 obi ka che me anka me nyini na me say John Mahama nyame ne de nyame a John Mahama som ne de wo ye nyame a wote ase na aya dum bi tie o ene wode papa na amaye na da bia me bisa me wo say at the 1992 constitution no e Bible ana say Quran ya John Mahama wunya ntwa wan ya kwa wo say me ko tetem na nya wo na wo mpa na wo ko tetem no tetem no wo de sese a opampanyiri kama no tum na hwa Ganafo ne bedu ba bi no pressure be san ba so so ko trafie na mo aka asasa kofa brada be fa waye ni yiye sei no Ganafo na be ka kire say wo pe 50 kura akọ se constitution yes sem some mobile constitutional review say na akoso yes why are you president I want pray why are you president or so obeye when you comfort say kufa do mu de ni bio so mo be wi aye PDS o say o mo call a judgment that o mo call judgment that o ma sa court ato e wo arbitration court e wo London what you say why any president na Ghana for area no ene ya to aba ne yenya te se metra na se mekasa e ya na minim de meka yes metra na mekasa e ya na minim de meka san say o man no eye mi nyina esen so a esen ma nyina ya kasa ni bra so abra ne ya campaign nam Kumasi nam Tamale enam Winneba enam Takoradi enam eye all over the places na ye bo eye campaign di ma John Mahama no ne nim de John Mahama ba wo betimi aye eno ti na ne yesra Ghana for say mo fa o my way ensa ne sa ena woda wo sorry National Security Coordinator COP eye Razak obo adwuma IGP eye Yohunu obo adwuma Christian Tete Yohunu obo adwuma ade post service ne mo adwoboko fam ne da pare person bi ene ka recruitment ya start say by enlistment ka beti dede na da pare fa hwe ma montre ene transparent aban no ho aban we mu da ho fine migration 15 fuko wo qualify no wakoto forms police service no wakoto forms prison service no wakoto forms fire service no wakoto forms Ghana forces so my omo de awie e kina omo ko body selection e wo e work aban papa no aban na me ka kira sa toma no na oto ye no wanto abanse no judiciary ne ma basesa chief justice awo fie nyansa ba ya obetoto ne ma judicial service ne ne ma ya judiciary ne ne ma san tumi afa ne to ma pa afira because trust na Ghana for ewo judiciary mu na abafom enim say papa se yakopon ya adom na se wotumi fam wo mu genitum no oso akofam mu sai ene ma beko yi ono kwa de wose 24 hours no wodi bi bewura yen court no umpe we na apede ade passe justice ba for boni my lord papa nya mi shira wate na minim da sa wo yere kura no hia no prison service mu na so sa bo adwuma ho na ye wo ye senior officer kwa ho na sansa bambo mu no wutumi wari wo junior enti no ene wo jai firi ho e ko giare ko bo adwuma ho ena ho na wo di firi wara ade de opa na wo pewu ena eja ene ye maame patience bafo boni wono so aba be director ayi what they say General Ghana Police Service ade be na FSC papa na bobra na enura no na ye me nwanwa medwene ho amenti ase se soko no mabiti sa aya afanyo markings such a useless caricature wo ma na me say na minority for no some macro minority for no useless ones mu free mu agro ne yede enura na me unu say ya waste your time ya waste your energy ama aya committee no penifo atiti so mu kwotena wa afanyo markings ko betimi afa 4 hours ne nyina na nya sabi anim eno wo free wakoye no wo be ne de sabi de na nyansa bia nim wo be ye wie ya wakoye no ye hu nyansafo questions o mu bisa ma shoulder bibia also mu bisa papa your friend said justice bafo boni bi o mu bisa no 17 years experience at the Supreme Court wo bia ni bi tokonu ya mo boni say wo ba Supreme Court the year 2019 Bafo Boni, President Kofo in 2008, and we didn't call Supreme Court. Di papa ya ni sa ene nyame akasa e wo mu se next year 26 na the time aso na so nyame akasa chief justice no obedibi. Yes, 20 ebe hu judgment papa wa Ghana ha tribunal ne dia papa tenetam tribunal no tenetam maye na afanyo munya dede ne ye afanyo omunya dede ne ye na me mbese mete se attorney general office bete se sa eye assault ahwan no na de ende me se obi amra no se sefota se ni di bia mo ni would that fear or favor? Enough is enough. Sabi nkuro na afanyo mobo ewo eye parliament no speaker of parliament right honorable eye Abambabin no is near too much. And some of us, ayana esisi yaso. Yeni manyansafo mu betimi akontributu, wo mu betimi akasa ama ya parliament na tumi afọ ne tuma pefra. Enye bi mu ne afenyo markings mu. Will you waste what add any value to yen enyema ekoso ewo aye parliament wono. The August house no afenyo add anything meaningful to the happiness in parliament no. Ye hu de waye. Na manyo ko beti se MPP mu penyansa fo akodi mo anim awei debi ade mo beko se ya kaskala no agama hwotim hwetitu fo amo afanyo edi mo anim papa ya patek bo amamo mo gina wa ma soko no ma wei wa sore se ya bokoto na musumudi nachi dabo ne ma. The center itself cannot hold. The one leading the minority ni fie nyansa woni bi empty utime metimi aka woni fie nyansa. And wakwa the political career no kakra say a team na minim said the good people of Aye Winneba in the year 2028 omo be sa branch na fra konya so sa soldiers na do mbakwa akodi sa adwuma no omo ni wachi biem. You don't have power. I'm telling you today, you don't have power. Sa soldier for be 70 something omo di wachi kwa wakototo ekoye niema ewo Aye Winneba during the elections no this time round unya sa opportunity ni biem. It is over. Afanya mekacho say you don't have power. Wini kute na 2028 and you bet mo busumi ayedua mo buru Ghana. Office ye di agro ye clear clinic kwanum letter commission nyina away na kwanum ada ho and kwasan suhun sam itisim say tese ne yeko hona bobo se tumi bi sini tumi bi. Yes, Makufu ado na nyama boni ya wabaya ni kronu a wode na busu afo babo o my way a wama ne wafase na adwane akwa na America memo mbeso obeba Ghana no mo nyina mo bete ho asem. Yes, no kreda wa nipa etime ka no kreda chire ninua se ninua ya ade na nya wobabie na no aka che se minua ade a woye enye ye ni ye quality no otume nka. Yes, because e bia na ho no odidie. If it must be done, it must be done well. Oh my Ghana yabre on the 6th of March 1957. Yeah, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. This year we free Nkrofo on Nzemaland. Yeah, G or my way see her a free a year Britain for SM. No, my Ghana ye nyaya fa hudi. Have you been to Asin Mansu before? Wako baby ana me the last bat. You daddy woman sani do mako se mudi umako. Have you been there before? Find time one day and go and visit the place. I have been there myself. Just go and witness something. Now, kasa when you be a kasa. So sometimes me expect a year Reverend Fajo, member of parliament for that area. So a better radio so and answer or kasa or bekanya sasem empty. Yes. Yana mi dia wo mi mu. Fine man. Nelson Ifinya sanayira. Utume kaje se Mugabe ne beka. Yes. You see, o say nyame adoma. Wo de mame fa we emboma asa na maba aye finance ministry ho. And every ya President Mahama wone yen security officers no. officers mpanifo nyina na omo ema eye nkayeda edema eye I say mark Remembrance Day participating in a rough laying ceremony to honor our fallen soldiers and all who served during First World War. The course of Elhano. Erebi, His Excellency John Dramani Aye Mahama. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. The course of Elhano. Nema de Danaquem. Nema eded anaquem. Nema eded anaquem. Nema eded anaquem. Nema eded anaquem. Ti yakoso ho eno no asojafo mpanifo postifo mpanifo IGP National Security Coordinator COP Razak the Capacity National Security Coordinator ne mpanifo ya Mugabe Maase Sapon Fire Service asoye any prison service ya Mugabe Patients bafo boni ni mpanifo kuku dai wo munyina kopie mo ho ne nkaeda akopon fo nkra insi. You move from a year on after a year for some I would want to go to 8 year Mr. Politics live on TVSY set and also on Power 97.9 FM. Nyakopon a year duma Thursday a year 13th November 2025. Finance Minister Honorable Dr. Ato Forsen Fantini this year Obekwa ku PM award August House no akọ present 2026 budget no Ede ama Ghana for na contractors ya mo dwumadie no na do ahwemu yi abubogu baby bebre no ni nyina mo besan ba road mo be back to the site na mo ba be ye adwuma nese market awodo ana ye ekoso na do bae ni nyina away bus na over the weekend on Aye Honorable Ato Forsen one aye ni deputy na omo water krade na omo inspected the abandoned market circle project yenko hwe ne course eho.
How are you?
I'm fine, and you?
Good one.
Nice to meet you. They are coming back is to do a lot of remedial touches on the steelworks because the project has been left for close to 2 years. So that's what they are basically working on, the corrections for the steel as well as for the purlins. They've been doing that since March. So in total, they are supposed to have 2,766 shops for all of the project. It includes 1,144 lockable stores. Also includes 15,586 counter shops and then 84 food shops.
So is there some somewhere or this is it?
No, we have not done any apart from a few of those samples on that side where you see the 2x4 by 2x4 shops.
Now we've captured it as part of the what do you call it? The priority list. So we intend to restart it anytime soon. But the contractor is claiming costs outside the loan amount. But that will mean that Parliament will have to consider and approve that before we can come. And of course, because it's Parliament that gave you the mandate. So until they approve it, then it becomes difficult to add the plus. And so you have to go back, get Parliament buy-in to pay the plus, but the 48 can continue. You understand? So we are taking steps, but we recognize that the state has spent some money and it's worth completing. So we work to complete it.
So what you are seeing is this is there are 702 piles driven into the floor here. So the major part of the works is the piles that were driven, the earthworks that have been done, the steel structure that has been raised. The rest is block work and services, mechanical and electrical services. So that forms that little part that is left. And some of that is also going to come from outside when they are bringing in the equipment that they need for the, how do you call it, the mechanical and electrical installations.
I just want to assure you that we've captured the project as a priority project of state, and from next year, the drawdown will begin and the job will continue.
Thank you very much.
Even if, I'm sure give and take, it may be December, but because of Christmas, it's rather, it's important I rather make a pronouncement for January okay. After Christmas.
Thank you very much. We are very
okay, but it's good that we came to see this.
Very well, not just say the eno as a contractor no here. What they say near my esa cost. I didn't know near my team cost $1 and a sabafo. Last year November, na a year 17 a kufuado person. Say your mama time 10. Indeed, dinner cost San Costro. Cement and a kufuado time a ton 122 Ghana cedis. And they would do a year a jenko toku a large wire 80 Ghana. Iron Roswa na kufuado time 9,494 million. And then anano pay Iron Roswa above for my bidru 7,200. Dadwa na kufuado time na 90 Ghana cedis. And then dadwa ne a year 4 inches ne 3 inches no one box a year 50 Ghana cedis. Inti edena and yama cost no san cost. Adentra. And then a brew upper east near upper west near Savannah region musu. A brew bottle on 500 Ghana. Say a brew bottle honey 200 Ghana. So Gramaton 800. Docono Monteso. Docono Monteso. Monteso so a mume munyedu. Monteso a docono munyedu. But docono keten 5 CD. A bruna motoni 16 million. A brew bag and can have baby a 7, baby 8. Not for a 2 million, 3 million. One bag. Banku to me to banku. Banku quantity ubi to me di banku 30 CD 1 main. Ade. Breaking news biaba. Na honorable atofo say man no water kra no monye ready no mon gather bibia for a year 2026 a year budget no. Wo finance minister obey budget o TC market. Yenti one ne deputy e water kra de.
Hello. How are you? Nothing.
Oh, since the leader is stable, on jump will be on one side. See, you're okay. On the end, now you're okay.
But then, maybe I will call. Good one. But I'm here, Papa. From out to Force.
The way I economy why is stable in Panama.
When you are doing
in the first young way, 12 million. Says you have a 550. 12 million. 12. No, 12,000. Governor, I didn't know one more old dinner. Yes, strong one.
Prices no near many other than first city day or do 10 cedis way. Says a cup here 5 cedis.
Half.
1 cup.
1 cup. It used to be 10 cedis.
No, about 5 cedis.
Cup, margarine cup.
This cup. A cup here. And more bag your cost do 1 million in Kakrame. Sisi I get 60, 55 in little. And what quire do 1,000. Sisi I want 5.8. Esi chair before my 5.0 nyama before ye or kaka or Moaba no so papa moye no efe even for free SHS ya webo so mpo wan gudumpo ono so ya ho me sisi ekọ university first year no mpo or ye free no so ya ho me nti why eduba do why be ya best wanya ma on se na mo family na na ese
Hello, what's that?
They am papa ni bia yo yet na yesra nyame no ma na honde no ntumi nyamo nse ne dam na mom ska no mbrakom ska no na mbrakom na bribia ya oh ya ni dollar ya ni Stefano odu baby no dem kaye chese na ya nsankan sisa nyame na adom ya papa be no ya nkan no na la no di on san so mom brakom na eja ayon so yetinti yenye dan yentum nton yenye bi so ya me nshira wo.
Thank you very much. And I'm no one waba form kaka. Yegusu aye. This one ended. Come on, ya bobo ama ya market ni ye na obi anso ofunwa kon.
Very well. That's just say the change now you voted for no and now we experience no. You see, maybe I'm catching you say yesuba eye obanyansafo yensuma na motenten. Hwe Kufuado 126 ministers. Amemwa sisi wusha ministers no go mu 60. On say on about to force no obo double obo defense and we say about air finance and on about Kofi Boanso about lands and we say about environmental science and technology. Inti require ministers no two no short amane bo amane air honorable Mutala the 60 no kwa inu but the result wa if 58 moba never compare a year 126 na yenya value bia ewo. When we say a budgeter, you cut down to the people, to the market. Ne market women who could din komo. Ye no makudin kita ho. Na ye tio masem. Na ye de achichire budget no. Ye de atwe budget no. Ye de atwe akohoma. Ya oman no. Ye behwe so. Na ye de atoto niema in the year 2026. Nyame ya adoma. Die na ye fese. Wo kanifori atase wo ye we bi. Ne de ne say obegu amanfo nyuma amanfo odi won sika ato bank pensioners no odi nsa to won sika so. Last year it was Makola market, this year Takrade. Catch you say amemu enye mirikatu he ewiase eye ade a eye adoma chede leadership say if you are born to be a leader yedi wo share a form kura will be pie aba be a leader. But if you are not born to be a leader, masa memory me how Akufo-Addo was not born to be a leader. We will be a dictator. One no one in nya adwena won ka ho obi a wonim krono bon one obe mo appointment say be obetime wie yie. Ti ebeda honorable atofo siase. Nyankopon eye adoma and then metia ne mani age because me wo nanfo bebra omuye into estate developers na di bebre. And today Semitisa cement edu ete Ghana. Then I sit down and ask myself, say, so last year same time yawo a year ago, exactly 1 year ago, na cement ni 122 Ghana. Exactly 1 year ago. Na aye iron was 16 mm, 12 mm, 14 mm, 11.5 mm. Na aye 9,400. Na ene mi kwa 7,200. Na mitime to adia last year November no. Na mi to 9,400 ya. Mi na jo mahama ne abemu penifo ase. Yes. We say man for started and IGP next month in the time beso. Na mo free say your mama onim de woya na. E mo amu wa bonte mo na mo be decide ama your mama. De wo say wo ye next IGP. Ana say de wote so no e wo say wo to aso amre mo no amra no man kwa say utimi man to aso ana. This shouldn't be a topic for discussion. We don't need to waste our time there, please. Let's move. O mine no niema deda na kwam kama. Yempede de bia. Yempede de bia. IGP we would do. CID headquarters would do a year National Police headquarters wa. Who say bibia deda na kwam kama. Bibia de dana ko bia ye na adwuma de o ha ye na adwuma de o ye director wan ye adwuma wudu wa menua DCOPTO operations national ti o bu adwuma pa operations commander no ho san FSA ti o DCOPTO na siana ni promotion bae papa wo bu adwuma na nyemo nwa se ya promote papa we wo oye twice e wo northern region Tamale kai Mumu adwuma sa please council ya maame eye vice president prof na na jeno poko agimai wuta no muko no boko mai yepe no boko papa eye Christian tete yohunu kusuye wadwuma boko ene me say yente hwe kwa no meti umaka unnecessary transfers any promotions bi a omo deserve near the amount we kwaya say ye man on based on merit say dan pare time anya de obe promote dan pare hwe wudin ba bia wo free ne a transfer wo de akwakoto ba bia ebi kwa wo yira wo aman with immediate effect timi boss fasata mo bonga that ye de okoto asenfo su the next we ne asa bono gambaga opempe wo beko adeni wasi treaty ye ho sa and the post 40 make asa post 40 meet radio station mo be ka ne woni hwan ye bobo 3 a obeka se okotie Mugabe e wo Bema camp anasa e wo police headquarters iti baby o man ne kono o man no e right direction so na joma manam so no ye fa enkoso ani fa en support e ma papa no ye bompa ya ye koto dwan nim ne ye bompa ye mobi ma no ho kafo ye first lady ye ma Melodina Mahama ebusuani nyame hira wo no onye wo kese panifo tunifo council of state panifo ye papa eye do waja homo nyame mo ma ho de ne kwateten council of elders yo mo wa endis mo nyame mo ma ho de ne kwateten ye papa mama Idriso mo nyame mama hoode ne kwatenten ye mama Betimud mo nyame mama hoode ne kwatenten na mo amu Jubilee House kantinka woni mo nyafo Julius Zebra eno poku ya adehye eno poku ya yamade kantinka nyame hira wo na awie dia meka kire wa ne sa adum eye adumara kwa nyansa nyame di adum wo no mokoso fa mo adwoma amasa oni monya fo Julius Zebra wo akomapa ye mame Mariata wo akomapa ye nua Kofi Boache wo akomapa ye mame eye nana oye wo akomapa menua Sandogbe wo akomapa Dr. Callistus ye koto dwane mu ne ye bompa ye mobi ye kaye nua no wompa ibom last week no France mem from France to Egypt ana ne mame eto anananom ewo nsiedo ye koto dwane mu ne ye bompa ye kaye nua Dr. Callistus wo ye executive secretary to the president akomapa ene wodo ya odi di president John Mahama chi da wonna anajo sorry ahomati sorry Dr. Callistus shedding enye easy so obelusu mame ye nua ba Dr. Mary Awusi Free Zones Chief Executive Officer Free Zones Authority what's wrong mame a wode ba wi ase ya mame ejo da bia na konya nie ene ne mame ka ti asefo ho eno nyame fa okransie minise nua ba Mary Awusi wasuama ni so nyina asa na so minua ba me ka minua ba se minua ba ma nyame na de ma no no oje mensu sa se nyame nim ne oye nyankopo ye misane kwase mane nya yie yen toto na no so mani nye yie oye ni bibia so oye ni woni mrem in his own time. I say God knows best. Asa on the man one waje ya me fa ya ma me kra ensi ye ni du wa ye nyina beba bejaw ye nya ne tie se be 7 December ye nyina beba se ye o semo e wo begro kwan so ye beba aba bejamo abeja busuafo na sam jasi baby a wo bia cha kese enkoma na prophet Adumu Chedia Adumu papa nyame na adumara kwa Philadelphia ma nyame asumdwe nkamo second chance papa si abono mi ansa na woto video hu wetie wo ba Mugabe na bibi ya yewo sansa kukudra wo ba no medekasa no wani ji hu bebre dia me so yama hu ase sofo pon sofo kasia te se prophet Adum Chei na telephone be ringia na me ne papa ne gina fon so na ye kasa ya Adumo na sam jesi nyame nhira wo ni abusuya ni nyina ya Adum bi asia wuti na awie ya Adum bi sansa nye nipa nyina na enya ne saa ti se Yakopon ya Adum na odi wo sibia bia bre wo ho asema nipa humble yourself o ma wo kwa wo hia wo mo no ba wo ma na obesen hia wo mo ba wo ma wo kwa wo hia wo mo na bi wo ha wo ba wo sen hia wo mo bi de bi aye nwin hu mienu anu moti obi aye to obi aye hwaniye nyame asomdwe kan wona awie na wonya okese abono na apa ho sema enso na medubesia ene na ene benadani mpiesie mobete ne ka ena mobete akuga no so enka nti Nicholas baba beto aso sisia cappuccino atnas ye de emergency call bia benti was me attend to another important meeting they say yes some nti afrewa wonni hweka me say ye den yes some oman no ti afrewa say Mugabe ehia wo ha wo say wo ye den uti hweka ene me bedu ha no nsia mi firifia ahomache no nan mi beduru ha no nsia 6 am na me wa de oye morning show kura na onye nnu ha matra musa ba be si sabre esi mfo so do so oye ni nyina excellence ye da wase some of us we are proud say yes serve in your administration and we will never disappoint you. That is all that I can say. Be out there because we are ever bright that place for you. Kata se chane prayer over enye juma wa administration we mimi hu ameka Yakopon show bibia no onye bibia kese cappuccino atranse high TVS was at na power 97.9 FM, the hottest and the biggest conversation in Ghana inside politics. There was so gusua wuti in all the 16 regions across the country. Media baby obefebia media washing be that they will be atum den sanso na araban so ote ho den ya oti achechefo amo Hebron Hills International School nyame asumdwe enkamo na eye so nyina Masa Kofi well what you say young Joe Masa Kofi what you say Masa Kofi eni abodwe se kwasimu what you say Yakopon sham na onye mu nyina kese koso mo adwuma papa young Joe what do ka ko wa mutumi sese ka no ma mutumi se wo mo ye champion ba ko pe what you say young Joe Masa Kofi eni adwuma efo ni nyina well couple and midimafo
Moga merase
my doctor we champion
oh doctor
champion din wa Ghana
anyase ojene ho mena
what you say doctor champion amafo dia dance and am say hey What you say?
Medima for no.
Namete. Adom.
Yes.
See, Udima for enya senyina ne sayare.
Dabi.
Se Yakopon born no ma haban. Se Bible no say emfa nubna ne haban no. Say ho yare. Yes. Bebebre nti ase.
Dabi. So see ye ni aduaba no ne emfa haban no emfa nse ho yare.
Thank you.
Nti trese mu nyina no Revelation 22 verse 2 kan ho asem. Oko Ezekiel 47 verse 12
so kan haban ho asem.
Haban ho asem. And oko see odifo 2 Kings 20 verse 7.
Fantastic.
Ebra na nempen so no odifo Isaiah ho se ne manfo no bi se misisi obi se yare ace
haban
no oboru akwaye ma oba no. 2 Kings 20 verse 7 no.
Fantastic.
Odifo no kutan haban ni nubra na ode besa ne manfo nyina yare.
Cappuccino.
Esi asem no so de.
Say enfa nubna ne haban no.
Fancy ho yare muga.
Na je say so pepe. Enje se ne yadwuma. Ena dia na woma e.
Mirasi muga mamenchia Nidimafo Eba Hospital Dr. Time da so na nkasa. Papa mamenchia o ene awie yi na menchia dwumayefo a omo nso wo Nidimafo Eba Hospital Kumase ene enkran nyina yenchia o munyina na awie nso ye musa se wapomoden etisen sa pomode na nya ewose oba Medimafo Aba Hospital ne yehwe se de boga kan ye no ifra no pa besi sabre nyina watena ne to so na emom no ade ba kono senka honam dua na ya mbra enko ntimi ntena se enya adwuma saa enu nti ne yaka kire se awie se o hwe TVSYZ ana se mputie power de ohia no se ubenya power de ya adwuma no bra Medimafo Aba Hospital ne yamo o how be na etete wo na se tamalefo asi papa ye kwan wo da ben kra na Medimafo Aba Hospital ebeba abepiem e tamale mbacho tamalefo nyina ate asem de esanse za plaza nyame ya aduma from 26 and 3 days Dr. Tam da so eba tamale za plaza aruntino tamale mu ben tamale nyina Savannah region one region mu nyina yeba abepiem za plaza arunti tutumirika na bra beje ayarsa mpacho edano obi a wada fom finhia bebere ebe sore gira na nan so pacho edano nsankyira ni besi esanse obi ho hu doctor pe o se doctor unya mamadire krampo no na pomodin na wanya obi ho a ohu papa pe na pomodin na ba obi ho a ye de aduro kan na prekopa na ho atoro na mpacho Medimafo de o se wayarsa hu ne hia nti ana o so yare enye se bia o sikenti na Dr. Tam da so oba tamale enkanya sa de a esanse obi ho a obekwa yarsa bia no bekọ na beka kire o se for 3000 Ghana cedis to for 5000 to o peking crying Nsana ya de aduro mpo de account baroba Medimafo Aba Hospital mpacho Dr. Tam da so entesa doctor nkan kire o se for 3000 to ho se doctor ka kire o se o de bosome miensa bosome mienu na otwe na ahwawo na obetua 800 Ghana cedis na obetua 1000 Ghana cedis mpo a me pacho ade ba akwa doctor ya ne se obi o doctor o se doctor me ba ye nyina sika kita me ya 300 Ghana cedis 200 Ghana cedis 400 ne kita me doctor nkan kire o se fasika na fakọ na kwawu esanse ose fa 3000 brand timpacho da bida doctor ebe tnase waye hwemu woni paduanum afei no abema oniro se na otwemie no ma me papa me nia ba akokọ no muniro no na otwemie no so a sabra for review na ye hwa se yare na watete ne pedaseni no oda so ho ana eno nji tamarafo nyina mpacho za plaza nyame adema 26 27th 28th mpacho November yewomu ya Dr. Time da so batamale ye number sa ba frame Medimafo Aba Hospital na what TV no so obi o say krache mani mi hunu what TV no so obi nso tie radio wo tie power mbacho nete ne say numbers no 0244 77 4282 0244 77 4282 and 0500 727215 0500 727215 na third number abetuna from Medimafo Aba Hospital ni edi nkomo 0245 44 9592 0245 44 9592 Medimafo Aba Hospital ena wie ni watena se ena odi nkomo yi me pacho Dr. Time eda so doctor de brand de ye na dwuma pacho ba doctor anima bibi ti say bacteria infection fungal infection eno no emma doctor anim esan say eyentatia case of Dr. Time that's when so anu nti say how bi na tete wa abramdima fo ba hospital obi o asema ba medima fo ba hospital ba me hunya nto me pato nya abotre na twen ne tie no say ayaresa no ya na egumu ahodo anu nti na abra berma no na nko ko be say okosuburara no nko 37 times eno yeso nko bi ma pato nko nya ayaresa enunti okoma akoma ko 38 de toso aduasan wotwe no 38 no ena mpacho okoye onya ayarasa ebra babofo be hunu nso na onko no obi atom no obi anya na ayarasa dada enunti ebia aba medimafo ba hospital unu obi na de yare kro ba ni poro ho ato no ba ho nto mpacho wo so ayarasa beba ebra na yesu nam no cancer mpane ade no oba no hunu se da bi menko esanse mfinsha be se 14 years na 12 years nie me ho nto me adentira na onya agidie koye no pacho ne ho to no but we die doctor say men kan chiro say wiei oye ogidie but ohia no say anamo a wobetu die ba medimafo ba hospital pe ne hia ene nti se oba poku ase mayira oba kumase abuo kwa atwoma agwa pacho no pe ne hia ohia hwe nka ho biem obi o ho a oba bi me na oka say be mane so oni ni jai adan a oko ware oba na ne form ekita no na ne shape ni ne shanku sekuta ne se yare nti ni nyina di form enu nti wo jai sanso na oba bi si wo jai be mane sansa be mane stature na ekita no osimi ne mpe TikTok enso wo hwe yare be bo mo no mpacho sa ne o mane nyina ni ho biem enu nti no oba na se wo ko bramdimafo ba hospital onyo obi mfa ne emane mfa wo ma enso akire Srobi se fami to taxi na taxi ni fami nko medimafo ba hospital na nshira Kenya me obo soro no obo asase se wo mfa yare na meso medimafo mfa nko fie na otwe mienu achi e be sha no nsanso ye mfa ntoka mu mfa ma da biarada pacho ensi we na me ko program ani ade ko kasa o radio so na omo ya politics ya ba company fo ba ka jem so medimafo me papa yare o kumase na stroke bere no ko aye no ye ko ba ko Dr. Maase diro no afi na otwe mienu wa hye no eduru ho na me papa timi kasa wo bra no ntumi nkasa na no ache na atene afi de Dr. Krase ma me mfa ne ma biene mo megye eduru mfa nkoma no na adansidie bebere pacha wo wanya stroke obi wo a ne nsa ba akon adwojo bra medimafo ba hospital ne mo afi wo stroke acho na wano na chia no pacha doctor ma na ma akoma yensa pacha wano na ebetene amana yeye medimafo ba hospital no me ba cha wo yese empanimfo na ya ebu baby se obi bi anaso wadamfo ana onua ne asorobo ampacho kotokoro ho enka soro da biarada esa nse ade do no ekoka soro a aboa ne sanso atesoro nti obeyi di amawo medimafo ba hospital ene ne odi nkomo no obi se me kidney asay mpacho kidney no yese asay yese anya yie bera medimafo ba hospital poku ase mayira kuma ase ebu akwa atwoma ago na yemo na yentu ase mfama obi se wanya fatty liver obrabo aharawa yare ahodo etena ya harawa ne yabrabo no pacho etimi tena mu chapa baroba medimafo ba hospital inshira Kenya me obo soro obo asase na wa kire yen haban no na Dr. Time da so de ba ako a me pacho me peye pa na se oba medimafo a ya nka nkire wo se oba ya wo miti na pa me oba ya wo se wonan na ya mu aduru enya saa ne ye adwuma e medimafo ye nam scientific approach holistic approach so ne de sa yare nti oba ye nhwemo woni padua no hu se yare we nam kwan be so na ba ye oha no se ne sitie ansa na adura onyame nam ne tumi so kire doctor se kokwayem nyenya haban no okwa nyenya haban tiwe awudifo kate esa yare we anasa emponom dua ye friend say nyame dua no odi ba fie no immune booster pa fa nyoma maako miensa we fafra afa odi no ma maako mienu we fra oba wo so anya fibroid enkro no banana ma ni nyina ba besnako onyame wotumi enu nti na me kan kire wo say oba medimafo ba hospital na doctor abo wa obetimi ka say me so da me hu doctor no me pa cho me hu atome ne etie no say sadie dote anka onwemfo nsem no wo yare no so anka wo so da biarada otu na mo ba medimafo ba hospital insurance radi so be dia dance amobi ahun se ampa ese wo tebia no wa frimo nyame adom ampa 26th of this month November ya Dr. Tanda so batamali na tamale no za plaza ena mpacho Dr. Eba enu nti ya ahobobo a na be hia doctor ho wa untumi mfa yare ne mankran wa untumi mfa makumase no pacho hia doctor ewo tamale 26th of this month na ogie enfa hodie nya odia pacho wo ye bema mentoto mema yase esan se ye won panyimfo hodo bi ho a obi di 90 years 96 years oware ne yere otoso nsia pacho what the 35 years what the 40 years obema sam enko yie edura nwumra atoto papa so pacho bramdimafo eba hospital the ten say your capsules obe mene obi o ase me capsules yesanso powdered form pacho obetimi adi na 1 minute na afa aye omu adwuma na aye omu adwuma pacho obeye adwuma medimafo aba hospital obi ma medimafo aba hospital emma ye nsa no emma yare na onkoye adwuma 5 minutes was mabere onkoye 10 minutes was mabere pacho ensi da biara da oba medimafo aba hospital na the doctor time da so aduro na abefa ya me pacho wanya adwuma kura nyata onya 30 minutes adwuma na abeye be ma so ye adwuma tim fifiri sey nananom bi di 90 years na oware na yire otoso 90 minutes wo ba adenti na be ma wadi 40 years 35 years women masem elfom bramdima fo ba hospital ne mo men kokko wo sansa wo men masem nya adwumanti abaji 20 wo se nya yebiem me pa to doctor ma just 24 hours ye ma 24 hours abema na be ya adwuma oba wo so ni atenka bramdima fo ba hospital na afei ye na ne doctor medi mpuni na hwade oba bi se me de mentime nwo ya kan kire am se me wo a enya ye me nwu biem kura mentime nwo pa to bramdima fo ne doctor meto nchia pa to ne doctor tenasia ka kire wo pa wo ye chinyigifo ka kire doctor doctor memi ye chinjefo me ye Thomas wa me pesa me wansa na maba betua ka bia wo se metua bia mba twa wo ba doctor wo no nya chie obemu aduru na duru doctor de ma no enya num bi sabi di bitua be sia ma bi se kosabi kodi bi na kotua bi mpa twa nya sa na te aduru de ma no bu atere ba ko te to ba ko a wo di go minim na mena mpa twa da anadwo da suom no woni obema ni hia ba ko pa mpa twa wo pa mu hia biem nhira nka nyame sa bosome nso no na eba ne dem na waje wani so infections ahodo na etete oba na afebo se nsuo basa bigu inso enka bia anya papa se wo yoba na se bia okunu ka kire se ono eda na joa enka bone otinka bone bia wo ba na onte bar be man so otinka bone apacho syphilis ena ya osa bramdima fo ba hospital ni am afi oba utsi utrase enya yie se okogina bat house na usi utrase na enka na ye too much abramdima fo ba hospital na yemo oba nso usi utrase na hunhunu wa japade no me pa cho de tie no se eyo how sa oba no wadi dem bramdima fo ba hospital be ma usi utrase na hunhunu wa japade am pa cho wadi dem bramdima fo ba hospital na yemo na ye de usi ni akorome ka kiro se be ma bia be ma no airphone tino unhunu ni awonye ebia infections no wanya bramdima fo ba hospital ye be treat infections ni nyina na yasanso amawadura within 5 days be ma ne be tenten kese kakraka teterete boborobom pacho de bebo adwuma wudi sia obanse agye wakumi pacho enye se wakunu ne mom ne denko a medima fo ba hospital Dr. Time edaso ye numbers no aba fraying Friday premium service beba so okire nyame adoma doctor wa Accra ha Thursday wa Accra Friday so wa Accra ye numbers ne 0244 77 4282 0244 77 4282 and I say 0500 727215 0500 727215. I am in Dimafo Aba Hospital. Dr. Time Edaso Nyami Aduma Moga Yadasi Besan Suecia.
Hi, I'm pleased to introduce to you Cancer Mixture, a herbal mixture for arthritic pain. Arthritis,
It's me.
Cancer Mixture, no Cancer Mixture, no Cancer Mixture. Yerba Biara no Drew, Morio ya or arthritis. Cancer mixture, obey your juma when you put your inside. I'm a face in the grand. And in Fidrina, menu on your market for in your button, I want one menu for. First, baby, I'm from one Sanka, Senior Susan, Bonibiara, home doctor, and I report for FDA Med Safety Apnodo.
And Katui, FDA Apnodo.
The National Petroleum Authority hereby cautions persons engaged in illicit storage and trading of petroleum products to comply with the regulatory requirements to operate in the downstream petroleum industry. The NPA Act clearly stipulates that no individual shall engage in any commercial activity related to the importation, exportation, re-exportation, shipment, transportation, processing, refining, storage, distribution, marketing, or sale of petroleum products in the downstream industry without first obtaining a license from the NPA board. Failure to secure the necessary license and properly regularize operations will result in confiscation of petroleum products, prosecution under the law, and decommissioning of facility. For more information, contact the National Petroleum Authority on 0302-550-380. You can also visit our head office located at Jolu off the N1 highway or any of our regional offices.
Na ede na ya obeyi oda formason ya funu emunumuni.
Oh, Mr. Entry, also yare ya titi be benfie pi nanso ne yam nyono da. Se me che onu ahodo amato a me hunu hwe ya. Ebe ya nwanwa.
Menyi ni se, what ulcer tamfo hexa capsules, any hexa mixture, yanum bom kutia ulcer no bia ma no anom. Anka no ho no dadaada. Ulcer dro die, eno ani hexa capsules, any hexa mixture.
Ankom ni nchiremu.
Ulcer ye kura, eto ye funu ene ensunumu. Etuma wo ye funu ekeka wa. Wodre ho a enyi. Ulcer etumi ema wo ye cheko, ebra wedidi ewie. So how eye ulcer there? Compare hexa capsules, any hexa mixture. Nanum bom na ho ebeto.
Pedudu etu a, ko okanshi drug lane, Kumasi Dani Herbal, Takradi AA Mensa, Anafre 020-3822-855. Apefo, abatanya wama won mofrano fo, ene mofra woni mfiedu mienu enka ho. Haxa capsules, ene ne mixture.
Ulcer tamfo, edie aje edwadie nkratoyi yi atom.
Minister of Roads and Highways, other ministers of states, the Upper West Regional Minister, the Member of Parliament for the West Central, and all other MPs from the region, MMDCs, our revered paramount chiefs, Pognamine, Namine, Nabihi, Tendamba, the clergy, the press, ladies and gentlemen. The Gulna sincerely accepted the apology from the regional minister. We stand today here with immense joy and gratitude on your historic visit to our community. We humbly welcome you to our home. Your presence is a testament to your government's commitment to our development, and we are honored that you have chosen to grace the occasion. This short cutting for the construction of the Waihen to Munavrongo roads is a monumental project that will transform the towns and villages, open up avenues for economic growth, improving access to essential services, and connecting us more closely to the rest of the country and neighboring Burkina Faso. This road will not only ease the transportation of goods and people, but also attract investments and create jobs and enhance the overall quality of life of our people and residents. We express our deepest appreciation to your administration for prioritizing our region's infrastructure needs. Your leadership and vision for a developed and prosperous Ghana are truly inspiring, and we are proud to be part of this journey. As you prepare to cut the sword for this landmark project, we pledge our full support and cooperation to ensure its timely completion and sustainability. We look forward to witnessing the positive impact the road will have on our towns, villages, communities, and the nation at large. Mr. President, in welcoming you to my humble home, I wish to congratulate you on the numerous works done so far. The list of good works is countless, and I will not attempt to list them. Your fight against illegal mining, aka Galamsey, is on course and is yielding positive results. We urge you to continue the fight and do not spare anyone, irrespective of his or her status, who might have involved in this illegal mining. I call on all other nominees to complement government's efforts in the fight against the Galamsey. Your Excellency, the Upper West region is basically an agricultural region. Most of our people engage in subsistence farming and commercial farming. The Upper West is capable of feeding the whole Ghana as we produce all sorts of cereals and tubers. However, tractor services, cost of plowing, and cost of inputs is far beyond the reach of most farmers. We appeal to the government to make tractor services accessible within the reach of farmers. If we have many tractors in the region and plowing is reduced, many more farmers will go into commercial farming. The government should also consider developing irrigation dams in most parts of the region so that we can practice all year round farming, as that will reduce the rural-urban mobility in search of non-existing jobs. Once again, we welcome you, Mr. President, and your entourage, and thank you for your unwavering commitment to our development. We are excited about the future this road promises to bring to our people. But before I conclude, the paramount chief of the Gulu traditional area has a presence for the president, and it is a very big white bowl for the president. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Na Seidu Brema Nabalana, Paramount Chief of the Gulu traditional area, for that insightful speech. And the President's gift will be duly received in due course. Thank you very much. Tiwo na yale abat na boranka tiga limitore to program na puo. Yale nimbi jet kanatan lata kaniane to President. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama Yuko Kara to swear anen yimalo yaltarahene ona na yele akuti achahanam bla on tunaka big push anen swear ngajaba mahawaganga katuna agine Ghana palonja ananamen anwutugui te Upper West palon chane karuwong anana untara anamaha akuti. So respectfully, I'll love us to turn our attention to the Minister for Roads and Highways, Honorable Kwame Govins Abuza, MP at the Gulu, to address the gathering. Please let's welcome him.
Thank you very much, my brother. Your Excellency, permit me to stand on all existing protocols as established to make these few comments. We acknowledge the warm welcome of the Paramount Chief of Gulu, all party members, members of Parliament and agencies here. We are very happy to be here. Your Excellency, this is another day for you to cut sword for one of your flagship projects to open up the country, as you envision that this project would unlock many more potentials for our country. So I have this few things to say. My brothers and sisters, today marks the turning point of the history of the North. For far too long, the people of this part of Ghana have been made to live in some of the worst and most neglected roads in our country. Decades of promises came and went, but nothing got done. Minister, I heard you say that you've seen this, and many sword cuttings and even more colorful ceremonies were conducted here before. I can guarantee you President Mahama is walking his talk. This one would work. We guarantee you in 24 months, this project will be completed. The contractors selected to do this project are capable of doing it. And so contractors, you hear the communities calling for this project to be done within 24 months. So if you see the agencies making sure that you go to site and work, we are not pushing you beyond what we should push you. It's simply because that is what the people of Ghana want. They want this project to be completed within 24 months. Your Excellency, when I was doing one of my nationwide tours, we met some young women along this road going to Tumu. On that day, One of them's was carrying maize. And then something happened. They fell. We met them. So we stopped. And one of the comments they made, Your Excellency, is that as for this road, if President Mahama cannot build a road between Wa and Bolga, then nobody can do it. And Mr. President, I have no doubt you are going to be able to make this happen, so that that lady and the children we saw by the roadside will have faith in the political class, that there is a political class that can promise and deliver. And I have no doubt that you are going to make this happen for that lady and the children. But for today, under the bold visionary leadership of His Excellency President Dramani Mahama, we are turning the page. We are here to cut short for over 260 kilometers of strategic roads valued at over 3.7 billion Ghana cedis under the Big Push program, the single largest investment in road infrastructure in the northern corridor of our country in recent history. This is not just a construction project. It is a statement of fairness and inclusion. It is proof that every region, every community, and every Ghanaian will finally receive attention they deserve. Your Excellency, the road linking Wa, Han, Lora, Tumu, Navrungo, and Hamile will be done. These roads are the backbone of the economy of the Upper East and Upper West regions, carrying our farmers' produce, traders' goods, students, and workers every day. When completed, these projects will reduce the travel time between Wa and Tumu from over 4 hours to less than 2.5 hours. Transport costs will fall by up to 30%. Over 2,500 direct jobs and 7,000 indirect jobs will be created in the course of this project alone. The Big Push is also a foundation for the 24-hour economy of your government, ensuring that Ghana works around the clock. Powered by the modern infrastructure and decent jobs, it is about building a fair, stronger, and more connected nation. To our contractors, let me say this clearly. Ghana has changed. Deliver quality, deliver on time, and deliver within budget. There will be no room for shoddy work or inflated claims. To our local communities, please support and protect our work. These roads belong to you. They are your future and your inheritance. Mr. President, there's another issue that I am going to be working with the contractors to address. We have noticed that, Mr. President, under your Big Push, the amount of money, the volume of bitumen we are going to use on this project alone is over 600,000 tons, which is valued over 7 billion Ghana cedis. Your Excellency, one of the reasons that you see some of the roads we build fail is the quality of materials we use. There's no regime in our country that ensures that the bitumen we use is up to standard. And I'm going to be working with the contractors to ensure that no more free will for every contractor to import anything in the name of how do you call it, bitumen and sell. So we are going to be working and have a regime where we can certify that only bitumen that is fit for purpose is used to do your Big Push project, so that we can hold the investment we are putting in this. We cannot invest all this money and allow shoddy work. Sometimes the contractors, Your Excellency, do everything that they are asked to do. Unfortunately, where they bought the bitumen from, they cannot justify the quality. So I'm going to be working with them. Your Excellency, the last thing is that you have already sounded the warning. You are investing over 70 billion Ghana cedis on Big Push, even within this phase. We cannot build this and allow few transporters to overload and destroy the roads within 3 years. It will not happen. So we have directed that henceforth, stronger and stricter regulations should be brought upon the system. Your Excellency, as we speak, there's a bill in Parliament which through the fees and charges. And when it matures, Mr. President, the current regime where people overload and are charged 5,000, Your Excellency, is being changed. Now, if you overload, you will be charged 50,000 Ghana cedi, because the cost of the damage you cause our roads cannot be repaired with the amount of money we are talking. Even the 50,000 is a penalty. Cannot repair the road, but it's a deterrent. Your Excellency, we are very grateful and we believe that you are the president who is going to make this country deserve and get whatever the voters deserve from political parties. And we are very hopeful that the communities will give the contractors all the support. This project belongs to you. Keep an eye on the contractors. Contractors, the president directs that when you are hiring people, always make sure that you hire labor from the local economy. I am sure there are many young people here who are capable of supplying you with the kind of skills you need. Please employ them. And we are going to be looking forward to see the contractors that will employ, especially our young graduates from the university, the young engineers, the young quantity surveyors. We want to see them in your team when we visit your site. I will be asking, how many young engineers have you recruited since you got the big push job? And your answer will depend on the next big push job you get. Your Excellency, I will end here by saying that your people are very excited. We shall deliver this project within 24 months, and we are taking our reputation on it. Thank you very much, and God bless us all.
Ka tuwanda wa yale ya yantina mwenu anukule hika duga na yamaku to yale jamaa mumo yala wata yang pa hanu hanu banke woma ja kula kuyara pu ne ja woma olanka tumane joma mandukuni adawna sirin kone jamaa ja anka o tuma daba wala banka John Dramana Mahama sirin lugi daw kona nana ne ja kurumban ka tumanga jien bingbara abaju a cin watana na banyan kan nimbi je biya tuma mun fana kan nimbi je ja na mine yideme ka jo mama nwara no enne ko na palo wa no te ka tuma na peeling atabaha wa nan ne kana tumen obaya ko belen ya chawen ka contractor biye anani jan sigan ko kuba ko pila tuma ba kubon antar soro ko baju yideme ka kara contractor ha tuma jien ati heba sia sumba belana jan sigan ko era yala ambaturi kayman badoraba kacha contractor hawe yemin di yideme tumanan polanan sarahi biye amintar bambo anabantung a soy tuma yato kara jija ke wadira tuntuna ba yaka ka ana number nan bice na ban suma tuma na kai da lugu bana sana ce garin mi tore libi jama'a biye bande tomato an bande ma tuma ngapu alibir ko nwe kacha yel mangaja contractor mo tunya tuma ngang chura wala ka sur pili unhu babanya bla ajun big push projects ngayam ka anana jan sikanin ka kwe asoi ka piana bana iman bin won yel vitamins bu kubo mine borela kona iman bin bakon sakamen ka soro wajan ka bundi man tara lobera amanti fast palon awo chinti so anyogo ja hu chata gara ne ja ande lokon wodo ka ibatu ka ta chona ngwe sana o boye libir kana kan wonye 50,000 Ghana cedis labe ka ama anan ataja ajun tijunola ye tokole no asugo yalanga ason John Dramani Mahama no gamnante ko tun ka tuwe abale wo kabla nore yal yagala ana tomen a wotinya a bigi hejinanga ngang a churi a lijara anan ana atuma na tomen ya baraka yele mun kubo so bunga tanga tete a yal yaga dana ji yal ka ba dana ka onala tiyiringa pala kara yida ndaw ka ganan bajan obajana ki yala ka maro o mayaka ko ka ki onla che ka ananum baji ko ton o lewa yilunga anona ton o yan resete Ghana ajumba yanka tidivu akuti president konala na pogba kole na His Excellency the President of the Republic
Mugabe Maase Brima, Paramount Chief of the Gule traditional area, our traditional leaders who have joined us here this afternoon, the clergy who have prayed for us, the Minister of Roads, regional ministers, members of parliament, district chief executives, heads of security services, management and staff of the Ministry of Roads and Highways, contractors and your staff, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, friends from the media. I want to begin by adding my voice to that of the regional minister to express our regrets to the Gulina for the break of protocol. We were supposed to have called on him in his palace and paid our respects before coming to this program. Unfortunately, a delay in Accra meant that we took off later than we had expected. And so we got here behind schedule. And because the Wa airport does not yet have runway lights, it means we must take off at a certain time. Incidentally, from here, we lost our chairman, Alhaji Malik. And so I have to go and greet the funeral before we go to the airport and take off. So time is not our best friend, but I know Gulina is our elder brother, and he's a comrade of the revolution, so he knows that sometimes in revolutions these are the things that happen. But I want to thank him for his patience. Let me also pay my respects to a man I just met here, whom I call my uncle, and that is Wadie Ganem. This is a great man, and he deserves a national honor from Ghana. He has dedicated all his life to living and working in Ghana. From when I was a young man, he's of my father's generation, and from when I was a young man, he built most of the roads that we know about that we're coming to do again under the big push. He has paid his dues to Ghana, and I just want to say God bless him, continue to give him long life and good health. I'm happy to know that his sons have taken over from him and are continuing to work in the road construction area. If you drive along many of the roads in the savannah and you see a dam, it is Wadie Ganem's work. Anywhere he sees a stream, he raises the road and raises the culverts so that it can create a drinking water area for dry season gardening and for cattle watering. I want to pay respects to him on behalf of the government and people of Ghana. In Gulina's speech, he spoke about tractor services. I wish to assure him that the promise we made for the setting up of farmer service centers is about to be fulfilled. We have identified 50 sites across the country in the food growing areas where we're going to set up these farmer service centers. Each farmer service center would have tractors, combine harvesters, maize shellers, plows, harrows, tractor trailers, and all the machinery and equipment that you need for farming. The Minister of Finance is going to read his budget, and in next year's budget, he's made provision for the first 11 of the farmer service centers to begin. And so our farmers will get the support they need. In addition, provision has been made for the establishment of irrigation sites so that we can do all year round gardening. One of the major problems with food security in Ghana is that we have a single farming season. And so we prepare the land before the rains open up. And after the rains are gone, we have to sit again for another 6 months until the next year's rain comes. It is not the same in other countries. In many countries, when they harvest, they are planting again. When they harvest, they are planting again. That is the kind of agriculture we want to encourage in Ghana. And so we're going to invest in irrigation sites, and we expect our farmers to take advantage of it so that they can do all year farming rather than waiting for a single rainy season to bring them rain. Now, Seydou Brahma, my brothers and sisters, the minister also commented on the issue of overloading. If you see some of the roads we did in 2016, even the Wa Township roads, I remember we asphalted most of them. If you go, you'll find that most of the asphalt has been pushed aside and it's become mountains on the road. And that's just because a few transporters want to take advantage and make as much money as possible. As I said, in Central Region, Burkina Faso has instituted a new weight restriction. And so what our people do is they load one truck here, overload it 120 tons, and then they get to the border and they offload the goods into 3 different trucks before they can enter Burkina Faso. If Burkina Faso wants good roads, we also want good roads. So we're not going to allow you to take one truck and go and offload into 3. So I'm serving notice. We will have stakeholder engagements with all the people in the transport sector. And when we start implementing our weight restrictions, we hope that everybody will comply so that these roads that we're doing will not fail in the next 2 to 3 years. I also want to assure the regional minister and all the people of Upper West that we have arranged this road construction in such a way that we don't have one contractor having too long a stretch of the road. Often that's the mistake that is done. And so the work is so slow, and so they are not able to finish on time. With this project, we have divided the road into lots. And so there are about 3 or 4 contractors working on the same stretch of road. And so they will be able to finish faster. And if there are 4 of you working on a road, if you are not pulling your weight, everybody will see that your construction is not going properly. And so I can assure you, we've made all those roads, we're giving them 24 months to finish. But all the contractors are assuring me that they'll finish before the end of 24 months. Because I've told them that if you finish, then we'll give you another one. So if you finish and you finish properly, you can come and ask for another one. So if you spend 3 years on your road, it's Iyalana. And so I'm sure that they will finish quickly. And what we've done is we have pre-qualified the contractors and made sure that we brought some of the best contractors here to the Upper West region. And so I can assure you that they're going to do a very good quality job. By the time we come here within the next 2 years to come and commission the roads, I can assure you that Upper West will see some of the biggest revolutionary changes in the road network than it has ever seen in the history of Ghana. So today we gather in Wa to make history. This is not just another sword-cutting event, it is a solemn reaffirmation of our collective resolve to restore fairness, equity, and dignity to every part of our nation. For decades, our brothers and sisters in the northern part of Ghana have endured the pain of neglect marked by broken promises, delayed projects, and missed opportunities. But today, that narrative is going to change. Under this administration, we're not here to make speeches. We're here to make progress, and we're here to deliver on our word. The Big Push infrastructure program we're launching today marks a decisive step forward. It is a bold new chapter in Ghana's journey towards balanced development. It is our commitment to ensuring that no region, no community, or citizen is left behind. The Big Push is not a slogan, it is a national transformation blueprint, a coordinated program to modernize our infrastructure, to expand opportunities, and generate thousands of decent, sustainable jobs for our young people. We're laying the foundation for a new Ghana, a country that works round the clock 24/7, supported by efficient roads, modern markets, logistics, reliable energy, and strong, accountable institutions. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the backbone of our 24-hour economy initiative. That is an economy that never sleeps, one that enables farmers to move their produce even at night, industries to operate multiple shifts, and markets to do business beyond daylight hours. When we speak of 24-hour economy, this is what we mean: an inclusive, modern economy powered by infrastructure, logistics, and connectivity. And that journey begins here in Wa. The Big Push projects for the Upper West and Upper East regions will transform the entire northern transport corridor. We're constructing and upgrading over 260 kilometers of roads in Upper West alone. Strategic roads linking Wa to Muhan to Navrungo, Wa, Laura to Hamile. These are all vital arteries that sustain agriculture, trade, education, and healthcare across the north. For far too long, these roads have been in deplorable condition. Farmers have struggled to transport their produce, traders have lost goods to bad roads, children have endured unsafe and lengthy commutes to school, and armed robbers have had a field day attacking our mothers coming from market. Today, I stand in Guli to say enough is enough. Every Ghanaian, whether in Wa or Accra, Navrungo or Kumasi, deserves the same quality of roads and the same dignity of access. Equity in infrastructure is not a privilege, but it's a right. And so under this phase, we shall undertake the upgrading and rehabilitation of more than 260 kilometers of roads in the Upper West region. This will include dualization of the Wa UDS City Center Road to decongest and beautify the regional capital. So from the roundabout where the fire service is, we're going to dualize that road all the way to the UDS campus. We'll carry out bridge works over the Kanyigbe and Bechiluhu rivers for year-round access. Modern drainage and culvert systems will be put in place to mitigate flooding. Safety features including signage, lighting, and pedestrian crossings will be constructed. These are not cosmetic interventions, they are durable engineered solutions designed for sustainability and safety. When completed, as the minister told you, travel time between Wa and Tumu will be reduced from 4 hours to less than 2.5 hours. We expect that transport costs will drop, accident rates will decline, and over 800,000 people will benefit directly, and another 1.5 million people will benefit indirectly through trade, education, and healthcare improvements. But let me spell out some of the roads that are going to see improvements under these 260 kilometers of roads. We have the Wa Bulenga Yala Road, the Wa Han Road, the Tumu Han Laura Road, the Tumu Hamile Road, the Tumu Sicily Navrungo Road, the Tumu Chuchuluga Navrungo Road, and the Navrungo Tumu Sandema Road. All these roads are going to see a major upgrade. Together, these roads are going to establish the first continuous asphalted corridor linking these areas in Upper West and connecting Ghana's northwest to Burkina Faso and the broader Sahel region. This will make northern Ghana a strategic hub under the African Continental Free Trade Area. These projects are about people, they are about livelihoods, they are about dignity and opportunity. In the course of the projects, we will create over 2,500 direct jobs for engineers, artisans, machine operators, welders, technicians, and there will be 7,000 indirect jobs for food vendors, suppliers, and service providers, like those who sell cement, those who sell fuel, and those other products. We are prioritizing local content, ensuring that the materials and services that are used for construction are sourced locally. Every cedi invested must circulate within our communities to stimulate local enterprise. The materials used must be the best quality. And as the minister said, we're going to make sure that every bitumen, every material that is used on this road is the right specification. When the NDC builds, we build with the people. and we build for the people, and we build by the people. Infrastructure must not only change landscapes by beautifying them, infrastructure must change lives. To our contractors and engineers, let me be clear, the day of poor construction, inflated claims, and abandoned projects are over. Ghana deserves better. You must deliver quality on schedule and within budget. The Ghanaian taxpayer must see value in every kilometer of road we construct. And as I've said everywhere, this year the finance minister put 13.8 billion cedis into the Big Push road construction. Next year, he is reserving 30.8 billion cedis for the Big Push road construction. Payment is not going to be the problem. If a contractor is not working, it's not because he's not been paid. The Minister of Finance has guaranteed that once you raise your certificate and it is certified and inspected and you've done the road to specification, you receive your payment immediately. And so to our chiefs and our communities, I urge you to support the work, protect the materials, cooperate with the engineers, because these roads belong to you. They are being built for you, your children, and your great-grandchildren. The Big Push is not an isolated initiative. It is part of a grand national network. And so as we commission the Wa to Muhang Navrongo Road and also the Wa Laura Hamile Road, I wish to announce to you that just last week I cut the sword for the Winchi Bamboy Sola Wa Road. So this Big Push, as I said, is not isolated. They are interconnected to every other part of the country. Once completed, this particular stretch will link the north to the middle belt and beyond to Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, and will anchor Ghana's position as a gateway for regional logistics and trade. This is how we build economic sovereignty, by strengthening domestic infrastructure and regional competitiveness. The Big Push is more than a developmental program. It is a philosophy of governance rooted in inclusion, fairness, and shared prosperity. Across Ghana, new roads, new bridges, hospitals, schools, and water system are being put in place again under this government. We're investing in people because people are the true wealth of our nation. Let us therefore unite government, contractors, traditional leaders, and communities to make this transformation a success. Let the Big Push drive the engines of growth, justice, and national unity, and let us prove once again that when the NDC says we'll build Ghana, we do not just speak, but we act. So long live the Upper West region, and because it is connecting Upper West to Upper East, I say long live the Upper East region too. Long live our beloved homeland, Ghana. I thank you.
Dan Pongponja Aku President. Ya Baraka. We'd love to thank the President, Napogoba Kolena, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, for that reassuring speech. And the people.
His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, Big Push. No na yekuhu ye oye guli eho na odifi de baya ma akoso no efe yi papa yedi ka chemu ina se yade a His Excellency John Dramani Mahama ba yempote makwan ni nya no ohwe yusi Big Push dia ye amamo nti ye nuanom so chefa na omunya wo eye upper regions asesi no ekoso a bibia betumi aye kama pa nti Big Push project ne de aba se bebua Ghana manyina ya kwan ya ho no etumi adede mama yen ma bibia etumi akonkan nti eno na golifoɔ so etumi enya ho emfaso a efeyi ma ekoso big push eba na abeboa Ghana fo ina nti moma ye ina ye nsom na yenkai se aban papa aba nti enema ebe koso kama pa ma bibia etumi ayi nti big push no ho emfaso de na ahya ase a ye yakwan no baby adri me yenkwaja aboafo nkrato Jumadi any inside politics, Power 97.9 FM, TVXYZ, Yanja Boafon Krato Yembra, Yaba, Yetwa Jumadi and so.
Now, let me tell you about Safari Valley Eco Resort, the first of its kind in West Africa. Upon your arrival, you are introduced to your butler, who plans your itinerary.
We were surrounded by wildlife from the moment we entered the eco park.
So many activities, all in the same premises. Visit the gym or the stables, they have it all. At my break, I'm able to practice my putting.
We also went fishing on a man-made canal. Our tour guides taught us so much about the wildlife and how to interact with them.
They used only electric vehicles here. This creates a serene environment. I'm told it's over 1,000 acres. My cabin here sits on 2 acres with a large terrace space overlooking my private swimming pool. Now this is royalty. They have their own farms, thousands of fruit trees. I can also have my lunch here at the waterfall. Quite a beautiful place you have here.
Visit Safari Valley Eco Resort in Ghana, bringing you closer to nature.
The Times of Refreshing Conference is here again. This year, we gather under the powerful theme, Exciting Jesus, from Sunday 23rd to Sunday 30th November 2025. Time, 6 p.m. each night. Come and experience Jesus, His saving grace, His unfailing love, and His mighty power. Speakers, Reverend Fifi Otabi Wilson, Reverend Kojo Amo Asari, Reverend Paul Amwako, Reverend A.D. Frederick, Reverend Dr. Ebo Anan, and your host, Reverend Kwame Amwako Hene. Song ministration by Pastor Ella Samoa, Efe Grace, Pepete, Rafia, Harry Fishin, Covenant Choral, and CT Choir. Don't miss this year's Times of Refreshing Conference. With Jesus, your future is surely exciting. See you there.
Brebo eye adwumada eboa eyam aduane eboa eyi nsa free ni peduanim na eboa woni pedua ma etena ho yi nanso woni se niema a yedi na yenom timi ma brebo ye adwumaden sen pote
mehunda me brebo ye adwuma pa e bia se mitumi ye bibi boa me brebo
ani. And wanting about the left hip from the Moses Clinic, we have our center about herbal food supplements. We see pan the barberbo, ama a year jumayi.
Now, any juma.
Fatopa yenu, and no pani anymore. Now a broma berbo ye jumayi. Send a beya, a bit me yam a jania woody, a sissy pijanimo, a yimu fancy.
And no, I'm a brabo can't pan.
Ubenya Life Kid or pharmacy, herbal shops, no supermarkets are a bell. Sawopa to do us with 0244 06 8447. Life Kid, Wawu Bravo, Wawunipedia. A drew any mapping for a ma emma or manfo, nay, and for our 1 year in fear doing. FDA JD Kratui Atum.
The serene environment fits into the goal of the school, which is simply to provide excellent educational foundation for your ward's development before they commence primary education. At first glance, clearly you will see why the school is called Hebron Hills International School, as the building stands tall overlooking town. With a Montessori style, we have experienced and dedicated staff and trained teachers. Our small sizes classrooms are meant to enhance teacher-focused approach where children get one-on-one attention from the teacher. Hello there. We are open at 7:30 a.m. and school closes at 2:30 p.m. After school care is from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., while early drop-off can be arranged at 6 a.m. Hebron Hills International School is located at Midye off the Nsawam Road. Locate us with GP postcode GW0688 Ga West and GPS code 06884870. You can contact the school and make further inquiries on 050-876-2375 or call the office directly on 0302-918768. Email us at hebronhills.school@gmail.com. Hebron Hills International School. Excel and shine.
Wohwɛ TV XYZ baby I will be I will share me wa wutie power 97.9 FM dwumadie no inside policies King Nicholas ni medin Mugabe the batons taken am amenti yet was akoyenim na meka wo say Safari Valley Eco Resort boy bi omo boy papa na wokɔ hɔ a weni beje wo credit district de wu ehɔ na Safari Valley Eco Resort wo na me pacho bebre tie na ye pa omo ye adwuma 24 hours into time bi obedru as a guest no on mejo feso no masumuye ma bibia etumi akonkai no mo surround any wildlife mbo say mara zebra any antelope ni ade na obenya bi wo behu bi ho obetumi agya ho ne omwetwam for yin kama pa sa so na Safari Valley Eco Resort me pacho omutumi host conferences day visit wedding honeymoon any birthday celebration koso ho sa so na me pacho omu provide world class accommodation baby obeda papi na wa obenya private swimming pool ahro recreational and restaurant service koso ho and to be foreign and continental and some local dishes ni na bi ho umpe we no pede your friend Safari Valley Eco Resort and no na make camfo e de amount papa yi medical kase odru ho a cycling and sana horseback riding fishing on man-made lake wo ho and as a man-made wo betumi sisi mbom tabo bom na wo teso na wo kɔ saa so na 9-hole golf and sana niema bebre na na ekoso ho for reservation wo betumi afre 0596914394 na wonim penifo edi enkomo Divine Hope Herbal Center the Medruswo Divine Hope Herbal Center me pacho bebre so sisi na ye wo ya be ma no ba ansa na koko na how sexual weakness low libido stroke how also na say menstrual pains may come for Divine Hope Herbal Center e di amom no ma ye otwea herbal powder papa into we come for tria herbal powder amon woko for the in potema Gapson Pharmacy cap herbal cap herbal wosunyane sasona House of Drugs wo ashama boache ansa wo Capcos nana boache herbal wo tema PK Gumbela wo tamale Fred 0591 565 and sana 557 no ni telephone kasana bibia entumi enko enkan esa emfema Benji Estate in the middle, so Benji Estate and Investment Limited. Benji Estate and Investment Limited, some in control say. Omo Sasso Tripoli ho a new airport a city. Me pacho a 25,000 Ghana cedis. Would be a beboy papa shy o sudoku also a koso mo road 40,000 Ghana cedis. Afienya omo Bento Estate and this should form pa 75,000 Ghana cedis. And sana after Central University omo ben B5 Company Limited and also cost 70,000 Ghana cedis. Land size measured by 70 by 100 feet and also me pacho ekwanenim yipa enti druwe na bibia ntumi nkonkan Saturdays no mo ko visit land no enti wo no mo di nkomo betumi aboa wo pe building construction construction and building materials ahroa nina no Benji Estate and Investment Limited omo de boy ye papa pay afrefra from me wo 0248 780887 and 0553 116602 na we don't wait in come on Benji Estate, follow your vision and own a property today na BBN to me enko enkai Power Specialist Herbal Hospital the Medruswo Power Specialist Herbal Hospital me pacho bebre area friend hepatitis A B C D and E and sound fatty liver sciatica prostrate beman or ban in semebu also ne how compo fibroid hawa may come for Power Specialist Herbal Hospital at the amount Homecha Crime Kumase branch and Yasi Lake Busumchi Road opposite Jess Filling Station Accra branch and Kwabenya Pokwase ACP Road Takrade branch and Anaji Estate adjacent Anaji MA Primary School no sube huomo 0244 544422 and 0200 383831 now wouldn't pay the phone didn't come on na bibia entumi konkan ex natural mineral water na medru so inso amuda hokroje pebi no na eboye papa me pacho ebia na we parties family celebration occasion bia ka so be serve ex natural mineral water wase na bibia etumi akonkan obetumi afra factory was 0596273546 and 0596273547 idini ex natural mineral water wo ba XYZ broadcasting ahimfie ha ye wo so abebrese street dudu bi openo wonsa betumi aka okomo so a wonsa betumi akabi ex natural mineral water is simply natural. South Victory Garlic Mixture na medru so Victory Garlic Mixture obi ho anana koma bon pepe obi ho anana nsane na ayetititi woni so aye kusukusu me pa cho bebre boama mboja ne tumi die furu sane ye pa your friend Victory Garlic Mixture it's a Victory Garlic Mixture na me kanfo e de amaw ye pa enye na organ ha bebi e ton drubia open do ankra ha ko kan she can walk herbal won se betumi akabi 02012938280 and 0242 545633 na bibia entumi enko enkan esa enfemo me pacho bebre medimosis se men kanchro se ebusia ehia pa woniema bi ho efa na liver health into liver no hwani yie efa na anadwe didie ne snacks ne niema odi na anadwe sa niema ne nemboa anti yenhwe ne yie papa na yen come for lift kit capsules amount medimosis the lift kit capsules aba ebebo liver no ho ban food supplement ebu ni padua no yaro per lift kit capsules na bibia entumi konkan ye na organ ha bibia ton drobia open one some be sa frɛ 050 06 8447 na wonim penfo nkasa na nya bi na bibia entumi konkan sa Bermuda Games na meduru so Bermuda Games 2025 Bermuda Games 2025 where you reloaded bigger and more exciting to Bermuda Games 2025 reloaded na day bro TVXYZ X Natural Mineral Water PWAC Natural Health and Medimosis Clinic na ye boom abo Bermuda Games si wana na obetumi afa cap no na wafu mutwe anti moma yenhye so papa yi Farmers Day na dwumadi bekoso ti ebekoso Magdan Town Park Jokers inside Labadi kick off on 10 a.m. ti moma yenhye so Bermuda Games 2025 reloaded obeshia obise Mugabe Maase PAC okra ohene babo ama benye okuman kra mayankasa ki Nicholas Mohobi ansana Prince dodo nankasa 3P4 eba Dr. Prince Nelson Obabi sa na Dr. Moses Medimosis omina eba dwumadi asenti moma yenhye nsewe na yentumi nko na bibia entumi enko enkan asa anti ediateno no sesi ade bebi edu no ye revisite ende parliament abra vetin no koso ye hwe nominee Chief Justice Paul Bafo-Boni abra majority leader one allow a minority leader ma wentumi anye ye ne niam o ye de bia na afenyo moma yenkwhwe mfonyin no me koso ho na yempem kwanim.
This should be a moment of national pride, Chairman, and institutional renewal.
I have an issue. The ranking member has no right, no lawful authority to raise anything about what happened in court, the processes leading to a removal of anybody. I am objecting to the use of the term disputed nominee, because there's no dispute before us regarding the nomination. You can't just be allowed to run down everybody and get up and walk because you are a friend of Markin. Why? It will not be allowed. I am going to look, this whole issue about you making a preliminary statement, show me a rule that says that you have a right to make a preliminary statement.
We reject the nomination. We would yield to you to proceed whilst we exit this committee room.
So we thank you very much, and we wish you a very good luck. Honorable members, let's have it in mind that we are not sitting here as a committee over any decision made by another committee or a court of competent jurisdiction. So bringing say or making say as a subject matter of discussion, with all due respect, this is not fair to members of those committees and those who presided over those cases. So if we are playing by the fair principles, please let's refrain from all those things and be guided by our rules in raising our issues. Minority Leader, you just spoke about fairness. So is it fair that a committee that is not before us, their rulings are brought here and described in a manner unwarranted by our rules? So with all due respect, this will clearly be in breach of natural justice. We don't have the opportunity of the people being heard. So why are we commenting on them?
Let me respond to my respected colleague, the majority leader. Chairman, it is his contention. It is his contention that my reference to the committee's work amount to attacking the conduct of its chair. With the greatest respect, I need to be listened to, and he has to pay attention to language as used in context. For the avoidance of doubt, I am repeating that the minority holds the view that the committee's work resulting in the removal of her ladyship, the Chief Justice, amount to travesty of justice. It is a view we hold. It does not offend Order 1237. Order 1237, with avoidance of doubt, provides the conduct of the Speaker, the Chief Justice, members of Parliament, the Chief Justice, and Superior Court Justice of Judicature shall not be raised in Parliament except a substantive motion. Now, the distinction must be made. Respected Ayarga, please, bear with me. I've listened to you. The distinctions must be made. Your work in the regular official duties and a critique thereto must be distinguished from personal conduct that one would consider as misbehavior or stated misbehavior. I am not, with the greatest respect, impugning the person of the reputation of my Lord Puaman, who I voted for under the influence of Honorable K.T. Amon. When all the odds were against him, I have nothing personal against him. Because even where there were personal issues that people were attacking his reputation, I was one of the few who stood.
Mr. Chairman.
So I'm not here to attack him.
Mr. Chairman.
And he knows I won't attack him. The caucus is talking about, please, Honorable Ayerga, let me finish. You were allowed to make your point.
Yes, but Honorable Minority Leader, just be brief.
Very well. The committee's work is what we are expressing an opinion on. And we are using very civil language to say that what it did amount to travesty of justice. It's as simple as that. So let me proceed. Chairman, unless the majority leader intends to frustrate everything that the minority has to say by way of its opinion, when did Parliament reduce to this? Where you have the right to say your own, you are the leader of the House, you have unfettered right to rebut. That is the debate we even have on the floor. When there is a debate, you take note. Where you think you disagree, when it gets your turn, you should also say that the committee's work did not amount to travesty of justice. Simplicity. But this issue of one line, point of order, next line, you are marking, don't say this, don't say that. Where are we heading to? The judiciary criticizes the government and members of the public where they disagree in their ruling. We
Honorable Minority Leader, kindly conclude for me.
The work of even their
conclude for me. Conclude for me.
I beg you, leader.
Conclude.
We all agree, Chairman. You know.
Conclude.
Right.
Chairman, the rules say that the conduct of the Speaker, the Chief Justice, members and Justice of the Superior Court of Judicature shall not be raised in Parliament except on a substantive motion. He has just raised the question of the conduct of a Supreme Court judge who chaired the committee. And he describes it and the conduct and what the justice did as a travesty of justice. He has raised the conduct of that judge. He has. And the rules are clear. And I can assure you that I will not allow you to breach any inch of the rules today. No inch of the rules will I allow you to breach. It's clear. I'm saying that you are a senior lawyer, you know. You've been in this house, you've been a majority leader, you've been a minority leader, you have lived through all the rulings in these matters. Pending matters, we should stay away from them. The conduct of judges, we should stay away from them. You have so far not impugned the process of nominating the nominee and submitting the nomination to this House, and the process of referral by Speaker of the nominee to this committee for the committee to do its work. Those are the legitimate matters that you can raise, and you haven't raised them. So all the questions about what happened, if you had waited and we started proceedings and you throw a question to the nominee to get his views on the matter, I may not object. But you can't just be allowed to run down everybody and get up and walk because you are a marking. Why? It will not be allowed. I am going to look, this whole issue about you making a preliminary statement, show me a rule that says that you have a right to make a preliminary statement. Show me in our standing orders anything that says that you, a marking, have a right to make preliminary statements. You don't. Listen, we developed it as a practice. We developed it as a practice where normally the two leaders may make welcoming statements and general open statements, but you have converted it into a platform to do a press conference where you attack and impugn people and walk away with it. I'm saying that today you will not attack anybody and walk away once I sit in this committee.
Now, though Justice Gabriel Poma is here in person, at no point will he have the opportunity of responding to any issue raised about him. None of the committee members will have the opportunity here and then to make comment. Therefore, for you jumping into a conclusion to say that their report amount to a travesty of justice without any of them having the opportunity to respond offends our rules. I will consequently order that anything in relating to the committee and Justice Poma should be expunged from our record. That is my ruling.
Chairman, what the majority leader is doing is not fair. He raises his issues you don't have to respond. When you are responding, he now determines how you should respond to him. The chief whip has spoken. You have spoken. When you are talking, you don't calculate the hours.
Honorable members, order.
When you are talking,
order.
When you are talking, you don't talk about the
on this note, we will break for cocoa. So it's time for cocoa break.
A person who is not a lawyer, I will put it down to ignorance. I will say that maybe the person is uninformed about legalities, so I will pardon. But if a lawyer makes a statement like this, I would think that it is populist and maybe downright mischievous. The Chief Justice cannot be accused of failing to list cases or a panel, when the case is not even ripe for hearing. A case is ripe for hearing when pleadings have closed.
He hinted at plans to decongest the prisons using Justice for All program.
It is a bother. I think that it was particularly for these minor offenders that the Justice for All program was introduced. It is something that I want to reignite, revamp it, so that we can have the Justice for All back on the road, so that we can get rid of some of these places. Admittedly, there are some cases that do not move fast as a result of, as I said earlier, the technicalities associated with our rules. We also recognize the fact that there are some judges and magistrates who do not put up their best. And all these add to the creation of backlogs.
On Wednesday, 6th August 2025, the Z9EH tail number Golf Hotel Foxtrot 631 helicopter operating a scheduled flight from Accra to Obuasi was involved in a crash at Dampier Forest Reserve of Anochi Crow, Brofiejo, in the Adansi Ekrufom district, Ashanti region. All 3 crew and 5 passengers on board died. The President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, directed the Acting Minister of Defense to constitute an accident investigation board. The Ministry of Defense, on the 25th of August 2025, announced through a press release the establishment of the board mandated to inquire into the causes and circumstances leading to the Z9 Echo Hotel helicopter accident. This investigation has been conducted in accordance with the Ghana Air Force flying orders, the Ghana Air Force Air Staff Instructions, Annex 13 of the International Civil Aviation Organization's Convention on International Civil Aviation. Generally, investigations under these regulations are conducted to determine circumstances leading to the accident and prevention of future accidents and incidents. The final report, which was presented, came in a format which had 4 parts. Part 1, factual information. Part 2, analysis of the factual information. Part 3 were the conclusions, which includes the findings, the causes, and all contributory factors. And Part 4, the safety recommendations. The composition of the board. this is now getting into the methodology of the investigation. The composition of the board had national security, Ghana Armed Forces personnel, personnel from the Aircraft Accident and Incident Investigation and Prevention Bureau, Ghana, National Intelligence Bureau, and we had some staff from the US Air Force also with us. For the factual information evidence collection, we immediately had, on the 26th of August, a briefing by the preliminary investigation team, PIT as it's called. Now, the preliminary investigation team were sent out on the same day of the accident by the Air Force. Their task was to go to the accident site, secure the site, try to protect and make sure that all perishable evidence was secure. Now, when we speak of perishable evidence, we mean things like information, things like memories, because people forget after a short time. They also have the duty of making sure that in as much as possible, they can capture and do a wreckage diagram of all the parts and so on that were around the crash site, because all these help in deducing what actually caused the accident. So we had a briefing by the PIT team, and they handed over the PIT report. The flight recorder, made up of the flight data recorder and the cockpit voice recorder, which is typically called the black box, and some personal effects of the passengers. The team then started, having gotten this information, decided to proceed to the accident site to get first-hand knowledge of the accident site and to be able to interview witnesses and so on. We also went through a process of looking at all the maintenance records of the aircraft. We looked at the flight logs of the aircraft, we looked at the flight logs of the crew, we checked on the crew's qualification, we checked on documentation, just to be sure that everything was proper. The flight data and cockpit voice recorder were then transported to the AVIC Flight Decoding Center in Xi'an, China, from the 12th September to 22nd September 2025. Now, AVIC is the Aviation Industry Corporation of China. The aircraft is a Chinese aircraft. They were the manufacturers. They had the software and the hardware capable of decoding and giving us the data from the flight data recorder. So we had to go to them. We also decided, as is normal with investigations, to look at the human factors and operational information. We looked at the medical and psychological records of the flight crew. Interviews were conducted with pilots, engineers, superiors, to assess the crew's proficiency, training history, and operational culture. We also actually interviewed their families and so on. We left no stone unturned. We also interpreted the weather. We looked at the weather on the day. And we looked at the METAR, which is the actual weather at the aerodromes. We looked at the TAFs, which are the terminal aerodrome forecasts, eyewitness observations, and then we also took data from the Ghana Meteorological Agency. Next, the investigation team decided to look at the whole organizational and systemic processes under which the aircraft was operated. So we examined the Ghana Air Force policies, their flying orders, and their operational oversight mechanisms. We looked at crew authorizations. We looked at the air tasking order procedures. Because, for instance, for the particular day, the task order that had been given was to fly the Minister of Defense and his party from Accra to Obuasi and back. We looked at Air Force oversight, its safety culture, and the adequacy of risk management systems. Having gotten all this factual information, we then moved to analysis and reconstruction. Using data from the flight data recorder and cockpit voice recorder, radar tracks, and eyewitness accounts, the flight path was reconstructed. We also looked at various analysis of several data and other similar accidents. And then we pieced together the sequence of events leading to the accident. From that, we came up with our findings and causes, and then finally the safety recommendations. So, for the scope of flight, we looked at the history of the flight, we looked at the weather, we looked at the environment, we looked at the machine, that's the helicopter, we looked at human factors, the crew flying the plane. Then we looked at the organizational and systemic factors, sequence of events, and then we came to what we believed strongly was the cause of the accident. For the history of flight, we went before the flight to see what the pilots had been doing. And it's on record that their last 3 flights before the subject flight, the same crew had flown all the 3 flights before on the same helicopter. On the 2nd of August, they came from their base in Takoradi to Accra. It was a Medivac flight, 1 hour long. On the 3rd of August, the following day, they did a flight from Accra to Cape Coast, back to Accra. 1 hour, 20 minutes. It was also a medical evacuation flight, Medivac. On the 4th, they were tasked to go fly Accra to Salman, back to Accra. That was a 2 hour 30 flight. That was a bullion flight, a cargo flight. On the 5th of August, they rested. Now, it helps to say here that in Ghana Air Force, there are flying limitations for the crew. You have 10 hours per week maximum, 62 hours maximum per month. Before flight, it's also accepted that if you've had a rest of 8 hours, you've had enough rest and you can go to work. They had in excess of 24 hours rest. On Wednesday, 6th August, the crew for the Z9 aircraft, call sign, ISCAP, Hotel Romeo, India, planned to execute the task order for the Ministry of Defense. The flight was scheduled to depart at 8 a.m. with an estimated en route time of 50 minutes. The captain delayed the flight due to adverse weather in Accra, Kumasi, and Obuasi. The weather improved about an hour later. So, takeoff ended up at 12 minutes, 14 seconds after 9 a.m. Throughout the flight, the altitude changed to avoid low clouds. Now let me explain why this was so. The flight started out being conducted under visual flight rules. Now, if you're flying under visual flight rules, what it means is you're using visual references to navigate. It's a normal way of flying. So they were using visual cues to navigate to go to Obuasi. And so they had to stay away from cloud in contact with the ground. So as the cloud base changed, they changed their altitude. Where they needed to avoid, they would avoid. I'd like you to take a look at these two pictures. Now, first of all, these pictures were taken in the environs of where the accident took place. Take note, it wasn't taken on the day of the accident, but it's just representative. The picture on the left shows the morning weather and shows you the visibility, gives you some idea of the visibility on the day. The picture on the right is taken from the same place, looking at the same area, and you can clearly see that you can make out the ridges in the terrain over there. And it's noteworthy that on the day of the flight, this visibility you are seeing that I'm telling you, you can't even see that, as you can see, on the day the visibility was much worse. From eyewitness accounts, the visibility was down to close to 200 meters at some point. This also shows a picture of actual weather from a passenger who was on board the aircraft, just to give you an idea. The weather in the southern Ghana was poor on the day, which delayed departure for about an hour. In Accra, conditions were misty, with visibility of about 5 to 7 kilometers and very low clouds, starting at only 700 to 1,100 feet above the ground. While the situation improved slightly later in the morning, the early hours were dominated by haze and overcast skies. In Kumasi, the weather was worse, with drizzle reducing visibility to around 4 kilometers and heavy low clouds sitting just 600 to 900 feet above the ground. Only Accra and Kumasi Aerodrome were available. Only Accra and Kumasi Aerodrome weather were available. There was no formal information on the weather available to the pilots along the flight route. Witnesses reported poor visibility due to fog and rain at Brofuyedru and its environs. Environmental commissions in the Dampier Forest Reserve and its rugged terrain of hills, mountains, created conditions such that over such rugged terrain, you can have turbulence, downdraft, and other phenomena. Now, to look at this is what we're talking about. This is a known aviation phenomena when you have such rugged territory. And what ends up happening is turbulent wind currents occur usually around ridgelines, mountains, and hills, and can generate sink rates in excess of 1,000 feet a minute in moderate wind conditions. These sink conditions can often exist well above the barrier that induces the eddies. We assessed the aircraft to see if it was fit for purpose. The helicopter entered the Ghana Air Force Service in May 2015, having been manufactured in 2012. And it reached its 10-year service threshold on 18th May 2025. aircrafts have periodic checks to make sure that they're fit for service. The Air Force has 25-hour checks, 50-hour checks, and 100-hour checks. The 10-year check for the helicopter is what was mandated for this helicopter. Now, as is usual, an operator, in this case Ghana Air Force, requested from the manufacturer an extension. And it's normal, happens in civil flying, happens with any type of flying. The manufacturer gave a 90-day extension to 18th August 2025. And basically, the helicopter met all the basic safety requirements. That notwithstanding, it sort of clashed, it sort of met a 100-hour check. So the Air Force also did a 100-hour check on the helicopter before the flight. The aircraft on the day, the aircraft on the day was declared serviceable and duly signed off by both the engineers and the captain. The flight data report indicates that the helicopter was in good working condition. The helicopter, however, did not have some avionic safety enhancements. As I said before, the aircraft was serviceable and airworthy. The additional safety equipment that the helicopter did not have were things like the helicopter terrain awareness system or the enhanced ground proximity warning system, as you may choose, advanced navigation with terrain mapping, an automatic flight control system. And I would say that these safety equipment would have enhanced situational awareness. For instance, it didn't have an autopilot. That's advanced, the automatic flight control system, so that the crew had to manually fly the plane. So it sort of increases workload. Typically, you want to have a plane that has an autopilot. All the civil planes use autopilots, and the workload on the pilots is very low. It gives you the chance to do things and to think easily, and so on and so forth. Despite all this, the aircraft was in a good condition to fly and met all safety requirements. The investigation has recommended strongly for aircraft with these additional safety enhancements to be acquired immediately for the Air Force. To rule out any potential human causes, we also examined the qualifications, experience, and competence of the crew. The captain has a postgraduate certificate in safety and accident investigation from Cranfield University, UK, in 2024. The captain was a qualified FAA, that's the Federal Aviation Administration, commercial and instrument-rated pilot from Bristol Academy, Florida, USA, in April 2015, 10 years ago. Within the Ghana Air Force, he was recategorized in March 2025 as a Cat C pilot. That is, a pilot qualified to be a captain on the helicopter, the Z9 helicopter. And he had a green instrument rating. In the Air Force, they have gradings for pilots, categories for pilots from A to D. D being, depends on what you call high and low, D being for the initial, sort of, and then you go all the way to A. It's interesting to note that for quite a while, and as at now in the Air Force, the highest category is Cat C. So the pilot was totally competent to be flying this plane. The co-pilot was also a qualified FAA commercial and instrument-rated pilot from Bristol Academy, Florida, and he qualified in April 2023. In December 2024, he was recategorized within the Ghana Air Force as a Category D pilot on helicopter type with a white instrument rating. To further rule out any potential human causes, we examined the medical and psychological records of the crew. A review of the medical and personal records revealed no known medical or psychological conditions in the captain, co-pilot, or technician at the time of flight. All three were described by witnesses as calm, prepared, and professional during the pre-flight activities. Fatigue or medication was not considered to have materially affected their performance on the day of flight. Now to the sequence of events. The flight departed Accra under visual flight rules in marginal weather. The flight to Brofuyedru was uneventful. Brofuyedru is approximately 90 miles from Accra, about 10 miles from Obuasi. As the flight approached Obuasi, visibility deteriorated rapidly due to mist and low clouds. At 9:56, the crew entered IMC, which is Instrument Meteorological Conditions. To the layman, it is they flew into clouds because they no longer could stay away from the clouds, so they flew into clouds and transitioned to IFR. Now, IFR is Instrument Flight Rules. So what it means is they now transitioned from navigating using visual cues to now navigation solely on the aircraft's instruments. The crew then initiated a climb to cross terrain that they were aware of. They initiated the climb to cross the terrain. Seconds before impact, the crew stated that they could see the high ground below, so they had gone over it. Suddenly thereafter, the helicopter that was flying up without any change in its power or in the pitch which we use to go up and down, suddenly lost height and impacted a ridgeline at about 1370 feet above sea level. And this was about 6.5 miles from the destination, and this happened at 9:58. Is what the planned track had been. The purple line is what the aircraft actually flew. And that took place because it was avoiding clouds and so on and ended up where it was. Now to our findings. The helicopter was airworthy, but it lacked additional safety enhancements. For instance, the terrain awareness warning system. Now, you know, the terrain awareness warning system, for instance, is predictive. So what it does is it tells you, warns you, it gives you a better picture of the situation and puts the pilots in a better, it gives them, puts them in a position to make better judgments, to be able to see everything and be able to foretell if there are any things that could possibly create a problem. But they lack the additional safety enhancements required for the weather phenomenon over that terrain. There was adverse weather, there was limited visibility, there was rising rugged terrain, with this terrain induced complicating factors, and there were no ground-based navigational route aids en route.